Adventure? Today on The World Is Yours. We're off to Arizona, where we'll get as close to space as possible at the Pima Air Space Museum. We'll check out the Navajo Nation and the beauties it offers. Next, we'll jump across the pond to the happiest place on Earth, Norway. Whether we're enjoying the beautiful scenery of the countryside or taking in the city life of Preikestolen, it's smiles all around. We'll round things up on Shell Beach in Australia. There's plenty to see, whether you're looking at the millions of shells on the beach or through the clear waters at some friendly bottlenose dolphins. It's time for another unforgettable adventure. The world is waiting, and the world is yours. Our first destination gets us off to a hot start. So hot, it's home to one of the hottest places on Earth. The sixth largest state in the U.S., Arizona is roughly 113,000 square miles. That's 13 times the size of New Jersey. A large portion of the desert state is tumbleweed and cactus, as well as protected woodlands, leaving the majority of the state uninhabited. Most of the population can be found within the cities of Phoenix or Tucson. It's bordered by California to the west and shares 389 miles of its border with Mexico, which is actually longer than the famous Grand Canyon that the state is best known for. There's a part of Arizona that goes back even further in time than the famous canyon, 200 million years back. The Petrified Forest National Park, covering the majority of northeastern Arizona, features a peculiar natural phenomenon: petrified trees. Practically fossils, these trees give insight to our planet before we humans even existed on this planet. Long ago, this was likely a flourishing oasis of life, but was destroyed by volcanic lava. After thousands of years of erosion, the ash and water that accumulated over the trees was wiped away to reveal the preserved forest. Take a hike along one of the many trails the park offers. Not only is it a beautiful scene, you can also check out the impressive ruins of the Anasazi people that dates back 800 years. Although that's not as old as some of the fossils here, that is 13,000 years old. A good hike always works up an appetite. Let's try one of Arizona's most famous local ingredients: cactus. Did you know that cactus juice could actually be toxic? Not all types are, and in Arizona, it's actually commonly used in cooking. In fact, take a look at a menu and you'll probably see a few of the many ways to enjoy cactus, called prickly pear by the locals. You could grab a straw and enjoy a prickly pear smoothie, or a prickly pear lemonade. Salsa can be made with cactus, and true enthusiasts go as far as flavoring their ice cream with it. Don't miss the opportunity to indulge in a menu favorite: cactus fries. Sliced and deep fried, this treat is an exotic spin on a finger food favorite. Arizona is known for its landmarks and attractions: the Grand Canyon, the Petrified Forest, to name two. Arizona is also home to the largest Indian reservation in the United States. The Navajo are just one of many Indian tribes that have inhabited Arizona for countless generations. One of the wonders you can find on the tribal land is Antelope Canyon. It looks like an alien cavern with smooth channels of dry rock. It has earned many names over the years: Upper Antelope Canyon, the Crack, and the Corkscrew. The Navajo translation is the place where water runs through. This otherworldly place actually took millions of years to form. Today, it's a tourist must-see. Throughout Navajo Nation, you will find an abundance of nature trails made for camping and hiking. The open land is among the most desired by photographers from all over the world. Take in the night sky on a clear night over the desert, and you'll immediately understand the appeal. One of the most photographed monuments on the planet is located at Monument Valley Tribal Park. This majestic landmark would have been an architectural marvel in its time, towering anywhere between 400 to 1,000 feet. That's nearly the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Let's head to the capital of Arizona, Phoenix. This city is not only the capital, but also the most populated in the state. With 4 professional sports teams, Phoenix offers everything that you won't find outside the city limits. If you are more of a city person, because trekking and first-hand encounters with nature is not your thing, then this city is perfect for you. Keeping in touch with nature, let's take a look at the second most visited tourist attraction, the Phoenix Zoo. Located in the downtown, near the Desert Botanical Garden, it's a fun activity for all ages. The facilities also include a great number of trails that take you through the diverse habitats that are part of the zoo's 23 acres. Among the species that we would see during our visit are Asian elephants, Komodo dragons, Sumatran tigers, baboons, and giant sea turtles from the Galapagos Islands. You can ride camels in the African Trail and even have a close encounter with the giraffes. If, by any chance, you happen to visit the zoo during the month of December, you will enjoy the Christmas lighting, when the whole zoo is decorated with LED lights. It usually starts in November and ends in mid-January. With that, let's head to our next destination. Once believed that it would only be seen in theaters, science fiction evolved our hope for traveling the skies and beyond. In 1976, the Pima Air Space Museum opened and became a place where this fascination could be fueled. To this day, it is one of the largest non-government funded aerospace museums and is home to the Aviation Hall of Fame. The museum began with only 48 aircraft, but has grown to display nearly 300 within 4 enormous hangars. You may recognize some of the most iconic planes on display, like the SR-71A Blackbird and the A-10 Warthog. Planes that flew from the late 60s to the end of the 90s, acting as cool spies at 16 miles high in the sky. Before lifting off to our next location, stop by and see how the president has traveled the skies through the years with the Air Force One Through the Years exhibit. Now that's an airplane. Well, it's time to trade in our cowboy hats and boot spurs for swimming trunks. You'll need them where we're going next. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Ragnarok is a waterfall attraction named after a battle that included which Norse god? A. Moana. B. Gabriel. C. Hercules. D. Thor. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Ragnarok is a waterfall attraction named after a battle that included which Norse god? A. Moana. B. Gabriel. C. Hercules. D. Thor. If you said D. Thor, you're right. Thor, with his brother Loki and father Odin, are among many gods who were involved in the Ragnarok Battle. The series of events is a pivotal moment in Norse mythology and leads to a worldwide flood and a rebirth of the world population. Welcome to Norway, the happiest place on Earth. Don't believe me? Come take a look for yourself. Located in Northern Europe, the Kingdom of Norway shares over 1,000 miles of border with Sweden. On the other side lies the North Atlantic Ocean and the Barents Sea. Norway is known for many things, from the view of the imposing cliffs on the shoreline, to the fresh seafood scene, to the night skies putting on a show of beautiful northern lights. And Norway is old, really old. In fact, the Norse mythology of Odin, Thor, and other gods goes all the way back to the Vikings. Though the country has changed over the past 1,000 years, it remains one of the cleanest. With over 13,000 miles of coastline, making it a prime location for life on the water. It's never a bad idea to take a boat tour of one of the coasts, which have some of the tallest cliffs in Europe. The good news is that you don't have to go into the wild to see the marine wildlife. You don't have to go far at all, actually. Ålesund Aquarium is one of the largest saline aquariums, and it's located right on the Atlantic Ocean. It's not every day you're encouraged to try to pluck a fish out of the tank. In the big activity room, you can fish or crab. Or you can test your luck avoiding red claws as you try to grab a lobster. There are many open-air exhibits where the trainers and divers can be observed interacting with the animals. You can watch as the largest fish of the Atlantic Ocean, these massive whale sharks, feast on their lunches. Are you ready for a once-in-a-lifetime view? Then come with us to the famous Lofoten Islands. Lofoten is the ideal place to watch the Northern Lights because it is located just beneath the auroral oval, and a belt of light that encircles the geomagnetic poles provides some of the best chances for seeing this natural phenomenon. Winter is the best time of year to enjoy the thousands of colors with their incredible contrasts, hues, and color schemes. The experience is even more exciting at night when the Northern Lights are reflected on the sea. And now, we'll continue to Norway's coastline to see Bryggen, a famous wharf that was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Bryggen is a facade, albeit an iconic one, for the city of Bergen, Norway's second largest city, which is located on the mountain hills. From here, you can enjoy spectacular sea views, so you better not forget your camera. We will tour the streets, where we'll meet potters, jewelers, and artists, and see textile and leather crafters shops lining either side of the tiny alleys between the rows of historic houses. Norway is the world's second largest exporter of seafood. With over 1,000 miles of coastline, the Norwegian way of seafood is the best way of seafood. Traditionally, dried cod was the top shelf option. However, fishing evolved and Norway became famous for producing fresh salmon and Arctic cod. So much fish comes from the ports of Norway that it's become more than a culinary scene. It's become an industry and lifestyle all its own. Head to one of the coastal towns of Norway to enjoy the freshest seafood you've ever tasted. While you're indulging in the local cuisine, Norway doesn't stop at world-class seafood. Grab a burger at a restaurant and you may be enjoying deer meat. This is no mistake. This region of Europe considers some of these animals as delicacies. If you're feeling really adventurous, one dish consists of a sheep's head. You also might try a tender, slow-cured lamb's leg. Other meats on the menu that are worth a taste are moose, reindeer, and grouse, a bird. Part of traveling the world is being adventurous. Norway has a lot going on. There are delicious delicacies that span generations, and some of the most beautiful landscapes known to man. One of those unique landscapes really stands out. This is Preikestolen. In English, Preacher's Pulpit is the name given to this absolutely giant cliff. As if it were a pulpit overlooking the ocean, the famous tourist destination is an unbelievable 2,000 feet tall. That's more than 1.5 times the height of the Empire State Building. This majestic wonder was formed millions of years ago during the Ice Age. It wouldn't be until the ice glaciers that were once a part of Norway broke away that the cliff appeared. With the effect of 2 continents breaking apart, Preikestolen was born. Atop the cliff is a plateau measuring 82 feet by 82 feet. This is where 200,000 people come every year. This breathtaking view isn't the only draw of Preikestolen. As Norway's largest natural attraction, there's a hiking trail ready for adventures of all levels. We've been over the edge in Norway, from feeding time at the aquarium to cascading waterfalls worthy of mention in Norse mythos. Norway is more than just one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Maybe it's something you have to see for yourself. But the happiest people on Earth is no physical destination. It's a state of mind. Let's get back on the road and hop over to our final destination, But first, let's test your world knowledge. Australia is home to one of the world's largest and most beautiful underwater environments, known as A. The Grand Canyon, B. The Mississippi River, C. The Great Barrier Reef, D. The Indian Ocean. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Australia is home to one of the world's largest and most beautiful underwater environments, known as A. The Grand Canyon, B. The Mississippi River, C. The Great Barrier Reef, D. The Indian Ocean. If you said C. The Great Barrier Reef, you're right. Located off the coast of Queensland, Australia, the reef is so big it can be seen from space. And though it's actually billions of tiny organisms, it still stretches over 1,400 miles. Australia is known for many things, like the unique wildlife that roams the outback desert, or the Sydney Opera House. Australia has a long history that began when it was a colony for England, along with the neighboring Tasmania and several smaller islands. For 50,000 years before that, natives occupied the land. It wasn't until 1901 that the 6 colonies of Australia would form the Commonwealth of Australia that we know today. Our first stop in Australia brings us to a region known as Shark Bay, a shoreline called Shell Beach. The beautiful clear water of the western coast stretches as far as the eye can see. But you may be more curious about what's under your feet. That's because Shell Beach is one of only 2 places on the entire planet with beaches comprised of shells. And I mean a lot of shells. To be exact, 37 miles of beach line is made up of millions of cockle shells. That's not all. If you think you could dig your way past the shells, you'd be wrong. The emptied cockle shells are stacked between 22 to 33 feet deep. So deep, you could almost bury a telephone pole in them. How did so many cockle shells end up here? The answer is in the salinity, or salt content, of the water. Because of the high salt content, Shark Bay is a safe haven from predators that haven't adjusted to the environment. Shell Beach, as it is appropriately named, is full of things to do, whether you want to collect shells or enjoy the clear blue water. The beach is located just 28 miles from the city of Denham. Let's check it out. Denham is the westernmost Australian town accessible to the public and was the very first part of the mainland discovered by European sailors in 1660. It would be more than 200 years before Captain Henry Denham would chart Shark Bay as the city we know today. Between the months of April and September, around 250,000 people pass through the Denham region. With a population just north of only 600 people, that's a lot of activity for this tiny town. It still hasn't lost its small town vibe. On the way out, see if you can spot the wind turbines that provide power to this wonderful city. Australia's outback is huge. It's actually one of the largest desert regions in the world, next to the vast deserts of Africa. When we come back, we'll check out a few more spots that are too good to pass up. But first, let's test your world knowledge. The high salt content of the water at Shell Beach makes it very easy for you to do what? A. Hold your breath. B. Float. C. Do belly flops. D. Drink it. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. The high salt content of the water at Shell Beach makes it very easy for you to do what? A. Hold your breath. B. Float. C. Do belly flops. D. Drink it. If you guess B, float, you're right. Because of the high amount of salt, the water is more dense and can be very buoyant, meaning you can float in it very easily. Just 15 miles north of Denham is a paradise that's like something out of a dream. Monkey Mia! This beach is famous for not only having super clear water, but also for its warmth. You may very well be greeted by some marine friends as well. Bottlenose dolphins have found shelter in Monkey Mia. The word Mia actually means shelter. They've been coming to the shores for the past 50 years, and they haven't been shy about it. Monkey Mia is the best way to wrap up our trip in Australia. It's not every day you can feed a dolphin as it swims up to you without a care in the world. Another adventure is coming to a close, and it's crazy to think about all the things we've seen today. We visited some spectacular deserts, from the majestic views of the Grand Canyon, Arizona, to the beauty of the Australian outback. We witnessed a light show as only Mother Nature can do, as the Northern Lights danced over Norway. There are many more adventures ahead. Until next time, the world is waiting, and the world is yours.